Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into some TA. All right, guys. So we are getting some exciting price action going on right now, which is why I'm going to be making this video. We did just push up to the high, and we did put in a 15-minute and 1-hour bearish divergence. That point to that point, and then you come over here, the hourly time frame. You now clear as they do have the hourly bearish divergence. That's what I was looking for in order to see this thing sell. I was saying in yesterday's video that, hey guys, until that comes, we should expect this thing to keep going up, and then once that forms, that's when we look for a decent little sell there. That is happening now, all right? So on this new high, we have put in that bearish divergence, and we do have this uptrend to pay attention to. If you break this, guys, we're probably going to be, coming back down here, 556.74 and then 554.87 pretty quick, all right? So we are going to have to see what happens there. But that is really what I'm paying attention to, all right? From this point on, 559.62, that's your resistance, 560.84, and then 562.10. You came up here and rejected like right off of 562.10. I say it all the time here on this channel, guys. If you have good levels, if these are the the right levels, the right stuff you should be paying attention to, you are going to get reactions. A lot of times perfect reactions off of those levels, just like we have going on over here. And as you see, we only went a cent above it, and now we are selling off. All right, guys, so treat these levels right here as resistance, 565.16. Yes, I do think it'll be hit, but hey, we could be getting a little pullback here. We got our warning sign yesterday suggesting we could be getting a pullback or consolidation into that Jackson Hole event, so I said that that was my most likely scenario, is we consolidate or we pull back into Jackson Hole, and then boom, we launch off of that. We're going to have to see how this thing really sets up into the end of the week, but I definitely want to make this video right now saying that, hey, yes, we do have that 15-minute and 1-hour bearish divergence now here on SPY and QQQ, which does suggest that these things can start pulling back here. That's that. All right, so that's support over here on SPY. Break that uptrend, 556.74, 554.87, and then 551.70 if things really get crazy. All right, I don't think we're going to be getting all the way back down there, but we're going to have to see. I think you probably just consolidate here. All right, QQQ. Pretty ugly look as well over here. You already do have, a bearish candlestick on the day. Like I said, you did put in that 15-minute and 1-hour bearish divergence over here as we pushed up with this most recent high. That is exactly what I was looking for in yesterday's video. I was saying, hey, all right, this thing's probably gonna push up until that gets put in. And now that is put in. Now, hey, it would not be, pretty crazy here to see this thing pull back a little, all right, maybe get around here, and then we spike back up into the end of the week, all right? So that's, honestly, my base case there. That's what I am looking that is all I'm looking for. Oh, my God, guys. You have Iran news? Do we have Iran news? Is that what we have right now? Oh my gosh, this thing it could be going down further. All right, we'll see. Hang on one sec. Let me check my Twitter. Oh my gosh, guys. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Iran war news right when the gap was filled. Market's not rigged though. Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying, guys. Price action before your news. Why? Because this is a perfect rejection offer level, and you literally spiked. You continued spiking here until you had the 15-minute bearish divergence. So you know what? I will agree with that tweet. You know what? I'll even retweet it so you know what tweet I'm talking about. But yes, guys, you do have Iran war news. Trying to see the specific catalyst instead of people just saying Iran news. What the heck? What the heck? Let me find it. I don't know if I'm going to find it, guys. No, we're just going to go on with the video. Just know there is news that caused this. That is that. All right. So, if something really bad just came out, we definitely do have the technical setup here, as I've been pointing out, for a sell. So let's expect us to probably continue. You're breaking down from this. You're probably going to, break under here and then continue lower. Let's see if you get the 15-minute close under that uptrend. Okay. So if you break under here, guys, 480.14, that is your support. You're bouncing off there right now. But if you can't hold that and you do break under that uptrend, we're probably going to see 478.55 in a hurry. And from that point, there's really not much until 475.55. So I do have to assume we're probably headed down there. All right. So, break under here. You got some support over here, but at that point, you're probably coming down here. That is $4.60 lower than 480.14. All right, IWM, how we looking over here, guys? All right, not looking the best. Not looking the best. Okay, but I will point out you are consolidating here, like, you know, smaller time frame, not looking the best. Daily time frame, I will point out you're just consolidating above this zone here. Okay, we expected to be treated at supply, just like when you gapped under it and did it over here. That wasn't the case. All right, it's still acting as demand. If you pull back into that 209.77 to 212.25 zone, that is where we should be expecting buyers. I'm just going to take that level off right there so we can clearly see it. All right, I'm also going to take that level off there. Okay, 212.25, that's your support. 215.85, that's your resistance. That's that. Doesn't get much clearer than that. All right, Jackson Hole, guys. Maybe this thing consolidates going into that, and then boom, you get a big ripperoonie off of that. And, you know, I could see it, guys. I could see SPY going up to all-time highs on Jackson Hole. I could see QQQ doing, I don't know about all-time highs, but, you know, I could definitely see it setting the path for all-time highs, and you break above 486.40 here. I could very clearly see that, all right? And I know it looks like a mess there. If you come down here to the smaller time frames, everything makes sense, guys. Everything makes perfect sense. All right. And if you do want updates throughout the day on the indices, as well as, you know, all of my trades, we have been on a heater. That has been that. The link will be down in the description below. And that is that. But yeah, guys, VIX over here, we pointed out in yesterday's video. This is, well, we actually pointed out in these two videos right here. Okay. And then going into this week, that is, you know, we were aware that, hey, all right, VIX hasn't crossed through this zone without having a reaction since the zone was created. All right, it literally doesn't happen. You don't cross through it without having a reaction to, you know, each end of the zone. So that is where we were looking for that to pop up there. You also had the 1 hour bullish diverge going on here. Guys, now the hourly RSI is getting overbought. Don't be surprised if you do start, you know, seeing it. It's probably going to continue a little higher here, but once it gets a little higher, see it pull back, and then you get a bearish divergence get put in at some point. All right, that's literally what did end up marking this top over here. You had it on the daily time frame. No, you didn't have it on the daily time frame. You had it leading up to that, but then you had this market crash spike, and that was that. And no, guys, the market did not actually crash, but everybody thought it was, and that's why VIX did that, and that was that. We didn't think it on the channel, guys. No, we did not. No, we did not. I'm proud of that one. But I will also say that was the day I live streamed. I was like, guys, I'm actually open to the idea of a market crash here. But I definitely was saying, hey, things are not looking like we're going to be market crash. It's not set up for a crash. So that's that. But yeah, VIX over here, guys, expect some rejection over here at the daily 9. That is going to be around 1740. All right, 1731 is currently at right there. Okay, but, you know, really what I'm going to be looking on the VIX, I'm just going to be tracking this 1 hour and 15-minute RSI up here. All right, typically when we get divergence here, that's when it starts selling. Same thing as the indices, guys. Same thing. All right, but moving on from the indices, we're going to go over the big chips. All right, so guys, SMH did reject off of 250.85 for the third day in a row. I think you're probably going to be getting rejection here and pulling back. All right, 239.14, that is a level of interest on that pullback. We're going to have to see how low you go, but in reality, the golden pocket's going to be around here by that 230 level. So, no, it's going to be lower. It's going to be down at 220. So, I'm not saying you get down there. I think if you test 230, you probably find buyers there. But yeah, before that, 239.14, that's where I'm watching. 247.34, 243.29, and then 239.14, that's your support. 250.85, continue looking for sellers up there, considering 3 days of rejection. That means we have a lot of sellers in there. All right, and that's that. The video, again, you're also just, you know, just stalling out right where it makes sense to stall out, right there at 130. Okay, you're trying to, you know, find buyers here, supporting, holding the line at 127.05. It's not looking like that's going to be the case. It looks like we're going to be revisiting 124.69. So just my opinion on, you know, looking at this, we can clearly see what's happening right here. All right, the indices, you know, are kind of aggressively selling at this point. Let's just pop back over here to SPY. What's going on, guys? We got the break of that uptrend. All right, well, we're gonna have to see how that 15-minute candle still closes. Same, they held the line on QQ and SPY there, but if I had to take a look, guys, or if I had to take a guess with how this looks, this thing's gonna be breaking down here, and that's that. All right, so, you know, I'm looking for lower prices here, and that's that. Okay. But come back over here to the chips, NVIDIA, guys. All right, got to get above 130. The second you can get above 130, all right, you're probably going to start pushing 136.15, then 140.76. But, you know, SMH, if that thing's gonna look like we're getting a pullback here, this thing probably is going to also participate in that pullback. Okay, so 127.05 under there, 124.69. Avgo, all right. Bearish in the golden pocket, guys. You expect sellers to step in the golden pocket. That is that. You are literally sitting here just rejecting your 166.85 resistance there, and you could be pulling back to test 161.33 support. Underneath that level, we have 156.40, which is a spot I expect to hold if tested. But yeah, you really got to break above 173 for this thing to start pushing all-time highs. While it's just consolidating in here, we're going to need a catalyst. We're going to need to pull back and then, get some momentum and test it again and then get above there. Or you're going to get a catalyst that just brings you straight up above here all in one day. And that could be Jackson Hole. I have absolutely no idea. But, that's that. NVIDIA earnings are next week as well. So that also could be the catalyst there. Get a big gap up off the NVIDIA earnings. All right. Be the sympathy play. We'll see how it goes. AMD, guys, yesterday you did reject the 0.618 fib and 162.50 resistance. You're back here just in your supply zone. All right. So, I know you're not immediately selling off here, but the fact that you're getting stuck here, that does tell us there's a battle going on. And yeah, all right. Break above 157.05. Get the hourly close above it yesterday. There was a chart I was watching for hourly close on. Forgot what it was. Either way, all right. So above 157.05, 162.51, that's your resistance. Okay. And support is going to be 153.64 underneath there, 148.78. Love that candle right there. SMCI, this is the one that honestly looks the best to me out of all these chips. It's kind of just chilling here, just consolidating after freshly breaking that downtrend. You have an equivalent high here. All right, well, I guess this would be the high over here. But, you could see what I'm saying. It's clearly a pivot point that it is respecting right now. It's consolidating. It's getting ready for a break. I think it's going to be a break up. So, if we get Jackson Hole here and this thing is just still consolidating in this range, still holding that above the 90 EMA, because we're probably getting, a positive reaction off that. This Jackson Hole could be the thing that launches this thing in 670. That's that. All right. TSM, what do you got? Rejection here in the golden pocket. Support is going to be 167.67. Resistance right now, 171.54. And that's that. MU, what do we got, guys? I think I'm going to stop covering MU on these chips. I only need to cover some of the big boys. I don't need to cover all of these. Unless you guys, are you guys trading MU? I just imagine this is probably the least traded out of all of the chips is right here, MU. So let me know. All right. But 105.72, that is your support underneath there. 102.17, then 111.34 as resistance. Now, if you want a closer resistance, we're going to use 109.47. Break up there, 111.34. That's that. ARM. All right. ARM did reject 135.41 yesterday. High of day was 135.60. Okay. And now you are coming back in to test the 9. I think you're probably going to have a positive reaction. And that's just my opinion here. That's how I think this is going to go. 125.98. I think that's where you probably get a positive reaction. That is lost, 118.50. And if you start pushing back up here, again, I think Jackson Hole could be the catalyst to get past a bunch of these supply zones and, golden pockets on a bunch of these charts. We're really just going to have to see what the catalyst gives us. We don't know. All right. QCOM, still just consolidating. All right. Above the 9 doesn't necessarily look bad. Same as, some of these other charts with the fresh downtrend break. And now it's not as sexy as SMCI, but, it is still just, it barely has ran after breaking this downtrend. It's probably going to be doing this. All right. And getting up here. So there's probably going to be a catalyst of some sort, a big day that brings it through this zone right here. All right. But yeah, you push into that zone, expect sellers. Short-term resistance is going to be 173.27 and 175.43 above there, 177.59. On the downside of support, 170.61. Underneath there, 165.89. Which, that's this little ugly double bottom neckline. So, hey, not the worst spot to hold. All right. Did you see your measure move? Yes, you did. All right. You did end up getting that already. All right. Moving on to the big boys. We're going to start off actually over here with my personal favorite right now. All right. With how this is setting up, I just think this is kind of an immaculate setup. All right. So I'm simply just going to go over some things here and I'm going to point out, I'm going to use this. Okay. High. Well, we're going to mark out the highs first. All right. So high, 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 high. What do we have here? A higher high. All right, so you have a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher high. We're going to make that one green. All right, guys. And I know there's war fears right now. I understand. I don't know exactly what happened because it's literally released as I start recording this freaking video. But wish I waited a little bit. That's okay. I don't think much is going to be changing, guys. TA is TA at the end of the day. All right. And you guys want to see just proof of that? I'll show you right now. This bad boy held this trend line. All right. You want to see proof that, you know, TA is TA before the news. Okay. You listen to freaking TA. You didn't get the 15-minute close underneath. You want to come over here to QQ? You didn't get the 15-minute close underneath. You're actually holding it. This is exactly where buyers need to hold the line. This is why we follow the charts and not the news. This is the exact reason right here is because you came up picture perfect. You got rejection over here where you're expecting rejection, sellers at resistance. It makes perfect sense. And what happened? You pushed up and you formed a divergence. And what happened next? You rug pulled off of that. And then you test that uptrend and you held the uptrend. Okay. News could be real bad, but at the end of the day, charts are going to be respected even during those news catalysts. And this is proof of that concept right here. Yes, you know, maybe you got some real bad news out there, but at the end of the day, you're still getting buyers stepping up where they technically should on these charts, where they have incentive to hold the line, because if they don't hold the line in certain places, things get ugly real quick. All right. You see how they held this, okay? If you broke above underneath that 558.40 low, well, guess what? Now you have a neutral trend. Right now, you still technically have an uptrend. You have this high, and you have this higher low compared to over here. So we're going to have to see how this goes here. Break under 558.40, 556.74 is your next stop. That's that. But yeah, you know, I was just jumping in there, showing something pretty cool. I like things, okay, guys? Charts make sense to me, and maybe that's why I like them. All right. Let's continue though. Right here. All right. You got a low. You have a lower low, lower low, lower low. What do we have right here? A higher low. So we're going to mark that one out in green, guys. We officially have a trend change over here on Google's 4-hour time frame. And that's what I wanted to make clear here. All right. So not only do you have this sexy downtrend break here, you also barely have moved from that. All right. You moved a decent amount, but you barely have moved from that. And you put in a higher low followed by a breakout to a higher high. So we expect the higher low on this pullback. We don't expect this low to be disrespected over here. We think it's going to be respected. We think it's going to produce, price is going to produce a higher low, and then you continue along your uptrend here. All right. Or you hit it with a range here, and then you break above that range eventually. That's how this thing is set up to go. All right. Now, what I also will point out is you had this ugly double bottom sitting here that I pointed out. And what happened? We broke above it, and we're retesting it right now as we speak, okay? There's two spots where you are going to find buyers stepping in. Right here where they already have, so we know buyers are there. It was where I was expecting them to come up off of open. I'll actually just see if I put it over here in Goog. Did I put it over in Goog? Yes, I did. The tide is turning. Since July 16th, Goog has been making lower highs and lower lows on 8/14. We put in a higher low before it broke out to a higher high on Monday. All right. Higher high on Monday. Now price is returning to where it has broke out from, 166.70. If it can hold here, that if it can't hold here, 163.08 becomes likely. Either way, we're expecting a higher low to be put in before another higher high, considering the 4-hour trend has now changed. So either the higher low comes here at 166.70 or it comes at 163.08. From there, we push up to 175.91. It was right down there. All right. What has since happened, guys? We did end up pushing up from there, and we got as high as 168.50. I think, honestly, you got a solid shot of holding here. If you can't hold here, though, we have the golden pockets in right here, 163.08, and I will make a, I will get heavy in Goog if we take that move. All right. If we get down here, I think this is setting up for a ripperoonie up here. And, you know, your risk is pretty low down here, considering we know this is likely to hold. All right. So if you're making your buy right here, you know, I know that might seem scary, but in reality, this is a low risk trade. And, you know, over time, as you just take more and more reps, you'll see that, you know, things aren't so scary. If you know the probabilities, you're like, okay, this, you know, is kind of a really good deal right here. Well, that's what would happen if it pulls back. That's what I will know and you will know beforehand. And then if it happens, we'll take advantage of it. All right. Nonetheless, guys, I do still think 175.91 to 178.21 is that's the target here for this rally. All right. So that was Goog. Apple, though, 0.786 fib stalled right out there. All right. So you have 227.78 resistance. That's actually where you stalled out, but you have the 0.786 fib right above. All right. So I did point out, if I think it was in yesterday's video, I said if you can get above 227.78, you probably are just going to break above that 0.786 fib and then push up here. You can't get above it right now. All right. There's that. You get above here. Okay. You're pushing up here. Okay, so, you know, sellers, they have incentive right here. It makes sense for them to do that. You also do have this waning volume here, which isn't the best look. All right, so I know price is grinding higher, but it's off decreasing volume. And that is something that should be noted. That means, you know, hey, there's not, you know, conviction behind that move. There's not, you know, the buyers that should be there behind that move. But then again, you kind of are just grinding higher. I don't expect a lot of volume to be in it. All right, I expect a lot of volume to be in a move like that, which we did have. So that was that. Come on over here to Microsoft, guys. 430.82, that is what you are paying attention to, all right? If you can break above 425.85, that is going to be the key level. I pointed this out in the last video. Key spot here. If you could break above it, all right, this is where your congestion is on this weekly chart. Expect sellers here. Definitely expect them there. But if you can get above it, and that's why I was saying Jackson Hole might be the event to just break up us above a bunch of these supply zones and golden pockets. And then from that point, you know, we can really ascend over here and start getting a really big pop here. All right, we'll just put that right there. All right, and what do we got going on? 436. At the end of the day, on this bounce, we're probably going to get up here. And if we're going to get up here and get over here, I assume it's probably gonna, you know, go higher than that. Probably get a setup that forms somewhere over here, and then we get to play a breakout setup. We'll see. All right, we'll see how that goes. Amazon was the strong one earlier in the day, and since then it has faded. All right, so that is something to note. You came up here and rejected off of 181.22 resistance. Now, this was the spot I pointed out when you got above 176.80. You really have nothing until there. All right, and you know, reality, this was honestly a really easy chart to follow along with, guys. You broke above here, 173.87. You had, you know, pretty much nothing in between there and there. 176.80. You went there in one day. Then you were breaking retested off of that level, 176.80, and then boom, you broke out above that next level. And then over here, it gave you the hint that this was coming. You know, I don't like how the volume is looking on this rally. I really don't at all. That opens the door up for tricks. And like it just pointed out, all right, it's just not, you know, you have low conviction from the buyers that should be behind this move. That's not the best look. But what I will say is if it pulls back, it's probably not going to be revisiting this low. It's probably going to pull back for a higher low, and maybe that spot would be 168.77, and then it would continue higher from there. All right, so we do have this, I see you see my arrow here. Well, guess what? All right, this kind of looks picture perfect to me. You have a massive cup and handle pattern, okay? You have a, you know, massive handle right there. You also almost retested this 146.57 level, which would have been picture perfect. I kind of wish it just happened. Didn't happen. But, you know, that would have been picture perfect. And, you know, sometimes, guys, technical analysis, it's not going to be perfect. But at the end of the day, we could see the structure forming here, and buyers were stepping in. They were ready to defend this level, all right? It was a strong spot, a strong zone, I guess we could call it. They defended. And you've now pushed up almost to all-time highs again, which is something that, you know, I have to say suggests we're probably going to be going to all-time highs. You've now recovered 2/3 of this whole move now. That's that. All right. But that's what you're watching, guys. All right. And support, you have, come down here, 179.38, 178.34, 176.80. Resistance, 181.22. And then in that zone, you're probably going to find sellers 183.70 around there. Meta, guys, this is also one that was showing strength earlier. Okay, you're still just finding buyers in the zone, guys, and this is, you know, one of those charts that suggests to me we're probably not selling off that Jackson Hole event. All right, these things are set up like to explode. Goog set up to explode. Meta set up to explode. You're breaking retesting off the zone that I was saying in yesterday's video. You haven't got an acceptance above it. Like, you don't want buyers up here. I told you yesterday, we're going to need a catalyst that makes it so buyers want to buy. Because so far, every time you get above this, you know, this level right here, this 531.49 level, buyers don't hold it. They don't. All right. There's no new buyers up here. Like, there are, but then they get trapped, and then it opens up the door for sellers the next time. So one of these times you need to see, all right, all the sell orders get absorbed like it's happening right now. All right, your consolidations, they're getting absorbed. If you end up pushing over, All right. You give the buyers a reason to buy. This thing is now uptrending. Okay. You break above the high here. Now buyers have a reason to suspect down, like they have a reason to buy again. All right. You have something clear to go off. That's what I was saying in yesterday's video. It's got to be something like that, a catalyst, or it's got to be a fundamental catalyst. All right. It's got to be something that fundamentally changes things and brings buyers back into the mix. I'm just saying this thing's set up to go. That's that. Tessie, all right. Still just stalling out. These two arrows, these are my thoughts. All right. Now, I don't even need to say anything about this chart. Kind of looks beautiful. We're expecting to push up to this 0.618 fib at 237. I don't know if it, finds buyers right here at 220 or 214.71. All right. But, one of these arrows is going to represent the path that we go. All right. That's going to be actualized into how price actually moves. Okay. It's either going to be pushing up, or you could consolidate here and then push up, or you pull back and you could go as low as 208.49 and then push up from there. I have absolutely no idea. But, I do expect further prices. Resistance is 226.79, 233.09. Support 220 and 214.71. Underneath there, 208.49. And that would be that. All right. Now let's just go over how Bitcoin is looking, guys. I do think Mara is set up to run. I got one of my alerts hit today. But, then it started pulling back. So that's that. But we did get above 17 earlier today. You are breaking out from this downtrend today. I know it's not the best looking breakout, not by any means. I don't trust that. I would have wanted to see volume here. I would have wanted to see a wide body green bar. You're not seeing that. All right. You're still getting sellers here, which opens up the door to another shove down here to support 56,500, 56,500. All right. So if you can't hold 59,313, where you're just kind of dancing around here, I have to assume we're probably just going to be revisiting down here, because this does not look like a strong breakout. And you're very clearly just dancing around this level. 61,809 is your next resistance, but we don't even need to talk about that considering you've been doing nothing. There's that. Coin, I think this is the worst looking of the three that I go over every day in these videos. But what I will point out, you have that. All right, so a little uptrend, not uptrend, a little downtrend. And if you break that downtrend now, we have a set. All right, so we will be keeping an eye on coin here. I don't necessarily like the premiums on coin ever. It doesn't really matter what's going on with the stock. I never like them. But at the end of the day, it is something that moves very well. And we will see what comes over here on coin. I'm just going to add an alert there just in case I miss it, so I can... yeah. All right. But I will be keeping my eye on this one. I'm going to send an alert also down here, because this is going to be... No, actually 0.786 fib is going to be all the way down there. All right. My focus right now is going to be Mara. All right. I pointed this out the other day when we got the downtrend break. Going into this week, this was a trade idea for you guys. I am just saying this thing very clearly has sellers right here at yesterday's high. If you can get above there, this thing's going at 1780. All right, so I got my alert. I will reset the freaking alert because you did not get the breakout. All right. But yeah, guys, this thing is set up to go. And I don't know if it's going to consolidate, base out here, and then launch up. But at the end of the day, this thing's going to 1878. That's what I'm seeing clear as day. Above 1780, 1878, and then 1991. PLSK has a bit of the same setup as coin over there. You haven't broke out yet. These are the charts that really suggest to me, guys, yeah, we're probably not getting a super negative catalyst in Jackson Hole, because if they do manage to sell these things and fade these very bullish setups into an oblivion, I'm going to be flabbergasted. I'm going to be like, hot damn, I didn't see that coming. All right, that's just, I'll call it like I see it. This is how I see things setting up into that event. I think they're bullish. All right, now get a downtrend break over here. Break over 1243. You have a straight shot to 1391. I will be playing that, just like I'm playing Mara right now. After that downtrend break, I would like to see this downtrend break first, though, before I do anything. I'm send an alert right there to get one a little earlier. Okay, not much earlier, like 30 cents earlier. But whatever, it is what it is. All right, because this alert will tell me, hey, price is probably going to be pushing up to 1243, and then that's the point when we could be making that higher high. And that's when I really like this thing based out, and it's now pushing up from that base off the downtrend break. It would be looking really sexy. All right, now let's get into Henry's trade ideas. And there's one that I want to put your focus on. I want to keep it on for the next week or so, because last time I mentioned it, we got a spiky, and I did not play it, and I was tight because I was like, guys, if it's gonna bounce, it's gonna happen right here. It is doing the same thing. By that I mean daily RSI is oversold, and you are now getting your pop. All right, so I got my alert today that you are bouncing back, guys. You're bouncing back here. I was waiting for this thing, and yeah, guys, it kind of speaks for itself. The thing is oversold. There's not really much else to say other than that. I'm not even talking about support and resistance. I'm just saying every time this thing gets over here in the recent past, all right, past you, recent future. What the heck, dude? 127 days, 4 months, 4.5 months around there, guys. You have been, getting this thing, getting big spikes. I don't know, it's only happened twice, but this thing takes a while to reset. You got that one over here, right? It also bring one. We're not going to talk about this because this was when, Trump race hype, all right, president hype was not in the equation, all right? It wasn't. Now, I'm just putting it out there, all right? This thing is lower than where it was over here, and you have more President Trump hype than you've ever had before. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying ever had before, all right? We had some pretty crazy times, okay? Pretty crazy times up here at 170 bucks. Okay, insane. I think 175 was the high that day. Yeah, 175 on the dot, guys. That's saying I was living that thing. All right, DWAC was insane back in the day. Okay, I don't know if anyone remembers playing that bad boy, but it was an insane thing back in the day, and it had a lot of volatility. And then for a while, it just died off. It's not in that cycle of dying off right now. It's in the cycle of this thing's consolidating. We're at the bottom of the range. And yeah, it's probably going to be spiking up from here, and we're probably going to be retesting 28.43. That's going to be my target here, 28.43, and then 32. I've already gone and started taking my positions on there. If we pull back here, I'll add some dated calls. Regardless, guys, this is someone I literally watched, Trump's interview the other day. It was with Theo Vaughn. Not going to share thoughts on that, but honestly, the guy definitely seems like an older individual at this point, but he's still kicking, he's still going, and he can hold a convo for like an hour. That's kind of cool. I'm just going to guess, hey, all right, some old people cannot do that sounding all the best. They will probably mess up a ton where he just didn't. So I'm going to say, guys, I think President Trump hype is probably going to come back into the equation. I know he's not the current president, but he's literally, one half of the equation in the presidential race right now, and the stock's doing this. I think we're probably about to get a spike. So you know what? Top watch right now, DJT. All right, lotto style trade, but I'm also kind of going to say high conviction trade over here. The guy literally was, giving himself a pat on the back with Truth Social, saying this is what gave him his voice back in the interview the other day. So like, that's what made me start looking at it. And then look at that, the things that the daily RSI is oversold. So I was like, all right, let's set an alert and see when it starts going. And what happened, guys? It's starting to go. So that's that. Next one we're going to be paying attention to, it's going to be FSLR. All right. And I considered actually starting my September call position right here. I'm going to wait. I actually set an alert down here. I don't want to get too heavily loaded over here just across the board, guys. I kind of want to just be concentrating in a few plays just because, I see clear as day. Some things are going to be moving better than others. FSLR, I see the tech sector is probably going to be making a full recovery, all right? It's not right now. S&P 500 is the one near all-time highs. It's back at 560. What the flippin' flopping? All right, look at that. Held their trend line, guys, and it's now running. Look at that. It's beautiful. Okay, watch for it to start pushing up to 560.84 resistance and then 562.10 above there. But yeah, you guys know the drill. Until you break this uptrend, hey, the thing is still going to be trending upwards, and that's that. Break the uptrend, we probably see these bearish divergences play out. That's how I typically see these things go. I'd see the bearish divergence. You're like, oh, Henry, but you can't just start shorting off a bearish divergence. Well, first of all, guys, I don't like shorting too often anyway. But, no, that's not how I look at it. You can't just like, oh, it's bearish divergence, the thing's going to die immediately. That's not how it works. You're going to get a signal, all right? So how I look at it right here, your bearish divergence, that's the thing like, behind the scenes, something behind the hood's not adding up. All right. So you have that little funky noise in your engine going every time you're, tick, 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 tick. I don't know. Something's there. Okay. Something's bothering you. It's catching your attention. And then your engine fucking explodes. Pardon my French. Your engine explodes when you start breaking your downtrend. You're like, oh my God, it's a fire. Now the thing is happening. So we got the warning sign. Bearish divergence is your warning sign. And then the engine will start exploding at some point, and you're going to break this uptrend. And that's your signal for you're probably going to be seeing bearish divergence play out. I know in that situation, by the time your engine explodes, you're kind of just screwed. All right. But it was the analogy that I think represents this the best in the moment. Probably a better one out there. But you know what? That's not how we roll. We're off the top of our head. Let's get into the next one. We're going to be... Oh, first of all, FSLR, though. I'm looking for a move up to 232. So I'm going to be waiting to play this because let's look at it this way. Falling wedge, breakout, pull back. All right, break and retest, really like it. But if you get the golden pocket test, that would be, clear as day. That's your discount buy-in right there on the setup. But yeah, if you could break above 232, you also have an inverse head and shoulders breakout, and that's something that probably brings in short-term momentum. And then from here, you probably get a move up here. I'm going to, no cap, no kizzy, right there, $20. I think this is a move that probably is going to take place, okay? But the clear as day move is right here, okay? That's still going to be a 16, Oh, no, hang on. Freaking, it was the magnet there. There you go. It's still about a $10 move that you could be taking advantage of. That's that. All right. CRM. I'm just saying, guys, this thing's getting ready, and I'm contemplating doing something. I'm not going to do anything before earnings, but I think this thing is kind of free money, and I don't even want to say free money because when we recently turned it down, I said there was a lot of free money opportunities, and then in the end, I was just sitting there holding the bag, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm not going to call anything free money, okay? But I am going to say that weekly chart is set up to explode. You just had this fresh downtrend break, weekly break and retest off of here. Like, this thing's looking immaculate, okay? The thing is basing out here, and if you can break above the top of that base, the thing's going to start ripping, all right? It's going to go for a ripperoonie. So that's what I'm going to be focused on over here on CRM. Really got to get above 268.36, but at the end of the day, I've been debating taking, on a pullback here, let's take a position there, all right, with time. Okay, we're not even talking, we're talking October. Let's just get that free money. Let's freaking see this thing run up to highs. Let's make money off that move. Okay, this base, this range you got going on here, this double bottom, okay, 14%, $32. Okay, you break open there, you're coming here to 295. That's that. That's what I have for you guys today. Netflix, guys, just look for the pullback. If you get the pullback, got my alert set. I'll let us know if it's happening. Right over here, 664.50. That is a level that I would really like to take advantage of if it pulls back. Underneath there, 639. D-King, I'm going to point this one out. I told you guys in yesterday's video, yeah, it probably does continue higher, but I think we're going to get a chance to play, yeah, I think we're going to get the chance to play this downtrend break after that pullback. So I'm going to be paying attention to either 33.51 or coming all the way back down to 32.42, since that is where you broke out from over here. Okay, that was your double bottom neckline. So that is a spot right there of interest. I'm going to be waiting on it. I don't know if my alerts are going to get hit, but we'll see. Yesterday's video is saying like, hey, you got the back test of this uptrend that you broke down from pretty aggressively. You're probably getting sellers here, and you have the supply zone. Like, you got confluence right here. You don't go long into it. You take your profits off of it. We went long over here. You take your profits over here. And that's that. It's not always picture perfect. Sometimes you long over here and you take your profits right here. You don't get the final TP. It's fine. It's fine. It is how the game is played. CELH. Consolidating here after breaking out of the falling wedge. This is another one that I will just keep on your radar. And that is that. I'm going to close out the video with that, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, please remember to leave a like. It is the only way I could really push these videos out to more people, unless you guys would be ever so kind to just have a friend that you think would find this information useful, and then just share it, and then everyone wins in the end. And that's also something that I would heavily appreciate. I appreciate your time. All right, I love you guys, and yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of your day, and peace.